What's up, fellas? In the second of today's videos, we're going to be talking about Bradley Beal, which I know is a shocker. We never talk about Bradley Beal or Bradley Beal trades, but in this one, I'm going to be advocating for a specific team to make a Bradley Beal trade. I've got 3 different examples of why the Golden State Warriors Bradley Beal trade is the one that needs to happen. We're going to talk about why. I'm going to talk about some specific examples, and it's going to be a fun time. So really quickly though, before we get started, if you enjoy content like this, then consider subscribing. I upload twice a day, every day on this channel. It's a great place for consistent NBA content. You can also like the video as well. If you're enjoying it, it helps me out a ton, helps get the video out to more people on YouTube, and you can check me out at various socials and a link tree down in the description below. With the intro out of the way, let's talk about Bradley Beal to the Golden State Warriors. So here's the mindset here before we get to the trades themselves. So for me, Bradley Beal is almost a perfect fit on this Warriors roster, whether it be for this season or moving forward, for a couple of reasons. One, his play style obviously fits extremely well. As someone that is a really, really good shooter, can attack as well, brings them a little bit more, or a lot more offensive creation, offensive, perimeter creation, perimeter scoring ability, outside of just relying on Steph and Wiggins and Oubre and things like that. And it just obviously raises their ceiling because the Warriors are a good team this year. They're not great, but they're good. They're good enough to potentially, be a playoff team, maybe like a 6 seed. And then if you add Beal, you can raise your ceiling for this year. And then when Klay Thompson comes back, Beal fits really nicely into this group because Thompson, presuming he comes back fully healthy, can play the 3 and can guard. And, that way you're not so worried about a not great defensive backcourt there between Beal and Curry. And this really allows this group to level up what they're doing. And Beal's only 27, so it kind of helps them, kind of bridge the gap between whatever they're doing now and whatever they would do in the near future as well. Now, how exactly would this work? Well, of course, Golden State has a lot of assets at their disposal, the most notable being the Timberwolves top 3 protected pick that they have for 2021, as well as James Wiseman. Now, this is how I would see the negotiations going. If I'm Golden State, my first priority is just to kind of see, what the Wizards are valuing here, what they're looking to get out of Bradley Beal. And this first trade assumes that they see some kind of value in Andrew Wiggins, who has been good this year, by the way. And you can still make plenty of arguments against Wiggins, whether it be past performance, whether it be the contract, whatever the case may be. But this first trade would be under the assumption that the Wizards see relatively significant value in Andrew Wiggins as a younger player, as a wing. So it'd be Wiggins, Pascal, that Minnesota pick, as well as 2 more future picks from Golden State. And those future picks do hold a good amount of value if you're Washington, because not only do you need to, add some first round picks to this roster, but there's a possibility that exists that the Warriors are not very good by the time 2025 rolls around. So that could potentially be a high pick, and that would be, of course, in exchange for Bradley Beal. This is where the negotiations would start for me if I was Golden State. I would go to Washington and I would say, look, Wiggins has been really good this year. This is a super easy way to match the salaries. Pascal's a good player. You could potentially get a really, really good player in a relatively stacked 2021, draft class. You've got your own pick as well. You could potentially have 2, top 5 picks, depending on how that protection rolls out. And then you get 2 future firsts as well. And we get Bradley Beal. And that's where the negotiations would start. Now, I wouldn't imagine that Washington would jump all over this and be like, oh, this is the greatest offer we've ever seen, right? So assuming that's not something that Washington is super, super interested in, then you would move on to plan B. And plan B would be you can have any significant asset on the roster outside of obviously Steph and Draymond, outside of James Wiseman. You do everything you can if you're Golden State to keep James Wiseman on the roster. So in that scenario, you're willing to give up Oubre, Looney, Lee, Alan Smalagic, whatever the heck it is, Eric Pascal, that Minnesota pick, and 3 future firsts. And obviously, to make the money work, you can throw Wiggins in here as well. You can just do Wiggins and Oubre and all the picks and Pascal in exchange for Beal, but then you'd have to take some extra salary back. And so it doesn't have to be this exact trade, right? But it would be, you can have anybody and any draft pick, any combination of assets you want, as long as we can keep, Draymond is staying, James Wiseman, obviously Klay staying, and Steph Curry. Because then if you're Golden State, you're looking at it, and if you can get Bradley Beal, you've got Curry, Beal, the wing stuff is going to be an issue, especially if both Wiggins and Oubre leave, but eventually Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and James Wiseman. And that has to be the mindset for Golden State. That's one of the big reasons, that I think the Beal thing makes sense, is because it helps you right now, but then, at whatever point Steph starts to decline in a significant way, you've still got Beal and you've still got Wiseman. I think they love James Wiseman. He's had some rough moments a bit as a rookie, But right now, if you're Golden State, you're going to try and do anything you can to keep Wiseman in a potential Bradley Beal deal. And I know that Washington is going to ask for him, But that's why I would start the way I would. I would say, here's Wiggins and a couple of picks in Pascal, including that Timberwolves pick. Okay, that doesn't work. Well, here's everybody else. We'll add in another first-round pick. You can have the Minnesota pick as well. We're willing to go as far into the future as 2027 to get Bradley Beal. And if that still doesn't work, then yes, at the end of the day, you can put James Wiseman into the trade. You can go Wiggins for Wiggins plus Wiseman plus the Golden State pick in 2022 plus the Minnesota pick in 2021 in exchange for Beal and Mo Wagner in order to make the salaries work. However, I think at this point, the Warriors would start thinking, is this maybe a little bit too much in exchange for Bradley Beal? As great of a player as he is, that's basically the entire future of the Golden State Warriors being traded away in exchange for Beal, and I don't think that the upside is as high there moving forward for Golden State. But it's pretty clear, right, why this makes sense and why Washington would be willing to talk to Golden State about a potential Beal trade, because among the teams that could be motivated to go and get Beal, Golden State arguably has the best group of assets out of any team, and we've known this for a while, right? Whether it be that Minnesota pick, their own future picks, Wiseman, Wiggins, whatever the case may be. And, the fact that Washington is bad this year as well means that they could easily foresee a future in which they trade Beal for this Minnesota pick. They have their own pick. Obviously, you're hoping that pick falls at like 4th or 5th, right? And that way, Minnesota loses their pick, you keep it. Because if it's top 3 protected, then it rolls over as unprotected in 2022. But 2021 looks like a pretty strong draft class. You get 2, top 10 picks, potentially, Washington potentially in play for the number 1 pick in the entire draft. And then, you've got that. You've got, whatever 2 rookies you bring in. You've got Denny, you've got Hachimura, Thomas Bryant whenever he returns from injury, and then try and get some kind of value out of Russell Westbrook, and then you're rolling forward from there. And that's really, really good value. It's a really good way to transition into the new era of Wizards basketball. If you're looking at trading away Beal and Westbrook, which, yes, I know that they beat the Nets last night, but, they're clearly one of the worst teams in the league this year. They can't defend anybody, so there's really no point in continuing to wait it out. And I think at times, it's pretty clear that Bradley Beal wants to be traded. Like, at times when you watch him, whether he admits it to himself or not yet, he's clearly not incredibly excited about the situation in Washington right now, and I don't blame him. And for Golden State, you're cashing in on some stuff that certainly helps you in the long term. Like, I'm sure they would like to have that Minnesota pick moving forward, and they don't want to give up all these future picks of their own as well. But at the end of the day, a player like Bradley Beal doesn't come available on the trade market all that often, and a team like Golden State is in a fantastic position to acquire him. And everybody keeps talking about this 2021 pick, and I know that it becomes unprotected in 2022 in this scenario, but it's possible that, Golden State holds on to this pick, it lands in the top 3, Minnesota gets their pick, and then Minnesota gets like a game-changing player. They're actually decent in 2022, and this becomes like the 10th pick in the 2022 draft. Meanwhile, the Warriors held on to the pick too long. Curry is, still there and he's good. Clay takes a while to come back. Draymond starts getting a little bit worse, and Wiseman certainly can get better, but you missed an opportunity to raise your ceiling in a significant way, and you basically, lost out on Bradley Beal because you weren't willing to trade away like the 10th pick in the 2022 draft. So I would really, really take a look at the value of that pick if I was Golden State. It's nice to have in the back pocket, but if Bradley Beal is a player that becomes available, I think you have to be aggressive in going to get him, considering the situation of this team. And I think that, presuming that Thompson comes back healthy later on, at some point, this can be a top tier Western Conference team and a team with a pretty bright future as well between Wiseman and Beal, because, even though there have been some rough moments with Wiseman at times this year, I really like him, and I think that he's definitely someone that has talent, has potential to be a really good player down the road. And Bradley Beal's only, 27, 28 years old. Like, Bradley Beal's got 5 good years of really, really good basketball left. And I don't know that I'm willing to pass on that, rather than holding on to like Oubre, Wiggins, and, like I said, what could be a good but not great pick in the 2022 draft. So something to think about here. And I think out of all the teams that you're looking at across the league, whether it's Philly or whatever the case may be, the team that I would personally love to see go and get Bradley Beal the most would be Golden State, whether that be from a play style standpoint, whether that be from an asset standpoint, whether that be from a immediate short-term and as well as long-term outlook. I would love for Bradley Beal to be a Golden State. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think of these trades. Would you be excited if you were a Warriors or Wizards fan? Would you be upset about either of these moves? Let me know down in the comment section below about Bradley Beal potentially going to the Golden State Warriors. With all those things said, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, you can check out more videos from me on this channel twice a day, every single day. You can also leave a like rating on the video as well if you enjoyed it, and you can check me out at those socials, as I said, they're in a link tree down in the description below. With all those things said, as I said in the beginning, my name is Tucker. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.